Okay, I'll save you a seat.
Does he actually turn around and leave?
Yeah, Claus actually gets up and starts to leave.
Young man, Lady Carol says, please, I understand that this is rather stressful, but you may want to stay, Lord Sirius says. Yeah, don't want to leave you high and dry without information. Clearsall adds to it.
Yeah, Claus just lets out a very deep, very tired sigh. He's like, I'm just so tired.
We understand. Carol, Lady Clemens says, again, putting an arm gently around your shoulder. We will not take too much time.
To be honest, if he wasn't tired, I'd be very concerned for his, well, you know.
Oh, please, like you've ever been concerned about any of us. And with that, Claus starts drumming his drum and does the divination.
Okay. So, for the room in general, you get some very faint auras. You get some very faint auras coming from the room in general, with some slightly stronger ones coming from the party. There is also a reasonably strong aura of magic coming from Lord Sirith. Are you going to try to identify what the spheres are?
Yes.
Okay. Please make one divination, make one knowledge arcana check. And
Okay,
we'll use that for all of the auras, so we're not asking you to roll for every individual one.
Total 22.
Okay. So, here's what you get. There is a general aura of magical potential around Sirith as well as the rest of the party. Basically, you can tell that they have the ability to use magic, but you can't see any spells that are actually active upon them at this time. Around the room, you get auras of protection spells. Faint ones, relatively weak ones, but they're there.
Nothing that really stands out to me.
Nothing that really stands out to you, no.
Okay.
Certainly nothing that stands out as hostile.
Okay. Klaus stops the drumming and just gives a very bored look. Sorry,
Imagine everyone would be like, I imagine Whisper like be staring, like holding his breath, like, okay.
Nothing but magical potential. No hostile spells whatsoever. Are you trying to poke me now?
Give me a head.
Yes, he's directly looking at Whisper.
Very well. I believe I have identified 6 potential weaknesses that Mir has.
Please, said them.
Well, I trust that this is not leaving this room.
You have our word.
How binding is your word?
I am a politician, my friend. I am used to my word not being trusted. But at least please trust that I am not a fool, and that I am not going to start blabbing information that could endanger us to a complete and utter lunatic.
Well, glad to know. Very well. I shall exercise trust to a degree, as long as we are all in agreement in this room.
I would assume we are all On the same page, he said, again, sideways glance at Tier.
Whisper kind of turns to the rest of the group. It's like, what do you think, my friends?
At this point in time, we're going to require their assistance in dealing with this, and just as much as they require ours, whether glances at Katir, certain parties like this or not.
Very well. How about you? He turns to Korim and...
You mean Kun?
Yeah, Kun. Yeah, he turns to Kun.
Yes.
Sorry. Korim, Kun.
Yeah.
Too many
Shay
has
names.
the same issue.
Too many car names. But
Shay has the same issue all the time.
Kun, he just he doesn't really react. He says, "I confess, I am not much of a strategist, and I don't know what is the wisest thing in order to hunt someone down. I'm a protector, I'm not a hunter. That being said, knowledge is power, and there is strength in numbers."
Indeed. But we are
Well,
great numbers. We are great. I think it should be taken into account that we are a large number. And when it comes to the potentiality of spies, this knowledge, which is our power, becomes dependent on it being secret. We lose this power should it ever come to Mia's ear that we discussed what we are about to.
Wise words from both wise words. I am the spy master. I am the master of spies in this city, young Whisper. I very much understand the need for secrecy, but I also understand that in order to get information, sometimes you must give it. There is a fine line between caution and paranoia. One is safety, the other is crippling.
It's only paranoia if you're
And
wrong.
here, and right now, I am merely asking whether or not everyone here is willing to take that gamble. I've tried gambling before with people's lives, and it ended in disaster.
Very well then. I declare right now that I, Lord Merrick, am willing to take this risk. What about you, Lady Fremeth? Again, an odd look from her. Mia is a dangerous madman to everyone. He needs to be put down like a dog. Read with that, Lady Clearsue says. Besides, if we start pointing fingers at everyone here, well, that's just going to make it easier for him. She speaks the truth, Lord Cirrus says. I too am willing to trust most, if not all of you. Though again, there's a bit of a sideways glare at Lord Katir. The protection of this city and its inhabitants is my top priority. If any of you are traitors, I will root you out and smite you. But in the meantime, Lord Merrick has a point. We need to learn what we can, and I would rather the Red not continue to keep secrets from us.
You are literally discussing secrets from your spy master, whose job is to keep secrets. That being said,
I mean, he got a point.
His job is to collect and keep secrets.
on that note, point taken. I still would like it to be anonymous. Claus,
Klaus just raises an eyebrow at Whisper. Oh, you're actually going to listen to me?
I usually listen to everyone. Whether or not I obey is my decision.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, Klaus is not Whisper's biggest fan right now.
What? Sorry? When did this happen? I caught me completely off guard.
I'm so glad that Vell dipped.
Vell ran while she could.
Vell could sense the change in the winds.
I know Klaus by now. We dessert buddies. We cake friends, okay? Cake friends know these things.
Even Korim's pretty much like, well, this is decidedly uncomfortable. I know that this is bad.
Yeah, Lady Clauso kind of leans over and whispers into Ruben's ear. This is getting awkward. This is getting awkward. Should we say something? This feels weirdly domestic.
Whisper smiles and says, I understand we have some business to attend between us. However, we still have an important matter for which we need to deal with in front of us. Do you believe Klaus, companion which I have fought alongside for the past few weeks, that now would be a prudent time to discuss probably the most important matter we have discussed since we joined?
Yes.
By the way, Mother probably is paying very close attention to this.
Oh yes, she is. She's actually been keeping
Is it bad that
Lady
there's
Clau's
actually...
been keeping rather quiet at this time, but she is watching all of this with a concerned look.
Very well. If the decision isn't anonymous, then I will proceed. The world is made up of natural laws, cause and effect, action and reaction. Most of these laws must be followed.
Get
However,
to the point.
some can
Lord
be
Katia,
bent and
get to
others
the
can be
point.
broken.
Lord Katia says, "We do not have time for a history lecture."
Very well. Cleverness and ingenuity are my weapons. The one obstacle which I am speaking of is as big as a mountain. It is important that we tread carefully. As I've said, I have noted 6 potential weaknesses that the Pirate King has, which might be exploited. And I say might. The first potential weakness we might exploit is that his magic seems dependent on giving orders. As such, should we be able to hear those orders, then he might not be able to exert control over us. Potential weakness number 2. He apparently, according to the knowledge we have just learned now, be alone with us. He might need to be alone in order to use his magic. Potential weakness 3. We know how to remove his magic. More specifically, we have a reliable individual in our presence who has the ability to remove his curse. Potential weakness 4. We know he is not omnipotent. He did not know I had broken free from his curse and had been waiting for me the previous night for my arrival. Potential weakness 5. I believe, by mostly through observation and inference, he has the ability to sense the minds of those around him, and that this ability has a limited range. I am currently undergoing some studies in magic that might give me an edge in hiding my mind. It is an area I am going to be looking at over the next couple of days. And lastly, 6th potential weakness. He lives in our physical world, and as such, one weakness that I have to face every day is the existence of gravity. It might be a potential weapon I would like to try and use against him. Point of note, I might be strong enough to now, at this point, levitate people-sized objects, and I have the ability to fly up.
Wish to raise him into the sky, then drop him onto the pavement. Lord
Exactly.
Mayor said with a rather amused grin on his face. I admit that would be an amusing sight. But
Indeed.
we should not underestimate him. My instinct tells me even that would not be as simple as it would seem. Very much worth the attempt, though.
I concur. An opportunity may present itself when we least expect it, and I think it would be wise for us to have a plan of attack should that opportunity arise. However, as you've just stated, we should not underestimate him. Even now, I myself suspect that the supposed weakness number 2 I listed off, of Mia needing to be alone with us, might be a fabrication. I do not trust it. There are too many unknowns when facing Mia, and so we will also be playing to the whims of luck when we finally confront him. We will find out the hard way what the true scope and limit of his powers are when we face him.
Indeed.
As far as we know at this current point in time, he can only target one person, and only if they are alone. But it is not without the scope of possibility that he could actually be able to affect an entire group of
He
people at
was
once.
able to control all of the guards around Horus, but it seems he can maintain multiple throws at once, but he can only add you to his collection if you are alone.
I was not entirely alone with him when he exerted control over me.
When
Though,
you are alone,
in all fairness,
when you have no allies, is what
as I was about to add, there were thralls in my presence.
Yes. When I say you're alone, I think what Sebastian meant, and my understanding of it, is that there is no one who is not loyal to Mir, bent or otherwise, in your presence.
So, Whisper kind of reaches into his pocket.
Jeremy.
Yeah?
Did you hear what I said?
I did.
Okay, because you started talking at the exact same time. You started talking as I was talking, so I wasn't sure if I'd gotten cut off or not.
Maybe there's a delay.
Okay.
So.
Please, go on.
Oh. On the first weakness I pointed out, a very obvious one that I'm almost certain can be exploited, is that if he is to give us orders, we will need to hear the orders he issues. I suppose it's always possible he can give these orders psychically or mentally. I've not seen any evidence that suggests he does. I've only seen him give verbal orders with his voice. If that is the case, should we confront him, if we can muffle our ears, Whisper reaches into a pocket and pulls out some cotton, shoves it into his ear, block him out, we could be able to potentially take away his number one most powerful weapon.
Oh my god, this boy is an idiot. Coutier says. Lord Merrick holds up his hand. That is quite enough, Lord Katia.